Joining me now on Locked On Gators is Jason Jordan, Sports Illustrated's Director of Basketball Recruiting, Locked On's Basketball Recruiting Insider. And before we get into it, I'd like to thank LinkedIn Jobs for being the official college basketball recruiting sponsor across the Locked On College Network. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates that you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions apply. And Jason, there's been obviously everybody loves Colin Castleton in Gainesville, but there's been one guy who's kind of he's turned some heads, we'll say, and that is Riley Kugel, the true freshman. What do the Florida Gators have in Riley Kugel?
Riley's always turning heads, right? But I think more so than anything, he's just. I would start with his mentality, and that mentality is to be relentless, on the court. That's the best way I always described him. He's 6'6", super athlete. I guess he's a little over 200 now, so he's picked up some muscle weight. But the biggest thing for him is, he's able to attack the rim. He's plays above the rim. He's going to bring the wow plays. He's going to bring the energy on both ends of the floor. And so when you have that type of player, you're going to check off a lot of boxes on both ends of the floor, plays passing lanes very well. But when, a lot of times with that kind of player, you think, he's typecast and he's just a hustle player, but he's not, because Riley's knocking down shots pretty consistently, pretty efficiently. I know he got the start in the scrimmage, the closed door scrimmage. No, we can't talk about it. Right? He got the start against Miami. And I think I didn't see the scrimmage, but I've heard that he showed signs of playing pretty decent there. But the fact that he got the start in and of itself just goes to your point that he's turned a lot of heads, especially on the staff. Those are the only heads you need to worry about at this point. And so because he checks off so many, he guards multiple positions, 6'6", great length, and rebounds really well. But I think he'll earn his time as a utility guy. Definitely a guy who will always, find time on the court because, the biggest thing with freshmen is how well they catch on the defensive concepts and rotations and showing and helping and recovering and things like that. And he picks that up really well, right? Because he's a high IQ guy, understands offense, understands defensive principles. And so that guy's going to always be on the court. And so, Riley Kugel, it doesn't shock me that he's turning heads and that he's earning playing time, and even that he slipped into the back door of the starting lineup.
Yeah, I think it was last week I had Brandon Carroll, who's with All Gators, some SI's Gators site, and he was like, "Yeah, Riley Kugel is someone who he had a chase down block like last week, and it was something that he didn't think he'd be able to do, but he's just such a good athlete that he can make those hustle plays like that." And I kind of want to talk, I guess we'll say, bigger picture here with Riley Kugel in how is it that players like Riley Kugel playing early could impact the Florida Gators basketball recruiting for 2023 and beyond, where we're seeing this with football now in the Gators, where you see a lot of true freshmen playing, and it's like, well, I could see a path to playing time if I'm a high school senior. So how will Kugel's not just playing time, but actual success and involvement in this team impact, or how could it impact future recruiting for Todd Golden?
Well, the greatest selling point for a coach is something tangible, something there that you can say, "Hey, I'm gonna tell you this, but then I want you to go talk to him while you're on this visit, and don't take my word for it. Just, I know you saw it in the game, but then go talk to him about his experience and so how much we trusted him because he bought into our system, because he did the things that we asked him to do, because we were the people that developed him. Is that true at this point? Whatever. But I mean, that's what they're gonna sell. He really bought. But what he did do is buy into what they're trying to do, and that's the best way to get on the court, right? But obviously the guys that Todd's recruiting, they're gonna play. If they come, they're gonna play. But to have a guy that they can, point to, that they can show clips of, that is, coming in, stepping right in. It doesn't matter what year you are. It doesn't matter that you're fresh off your parents going to Target and getting your room straight freshman year. It doesn't matter. As long if you buy into what we're doing, you're going to be on the court and you're going to have a lot of success. And go talk to him. There he is, right there. That's a big selling point. There's no better marketing.
This week's thrilling moment in college football is brought to you by Nissan. The thrilling designs behind the new lineup from Nissan are intended to empower drivers in vehicles as capable as the driver themselves. I mean, I think of unbelievable ability and unbelievable moments on the field for this week's thrilling moment. I'm going to do what I did not think I would do long or for a long time. Amari Burney is the guy that I'm talking about. Yes, it could be Anthony Richardson down the sideline, Xavier Henderson, touchdown, untouched. No, it's Amari Burney because of this sequence of events where the forced fumble and then the pick, just that moment, that collective moment was incredible from Amari Burney. Like he stepped up when nobody else really was. This segment has been inspired by the thrilling new designs across Nissan's new lineup of vehicles. Pursue what thrills you in the all-new Frontier, Armada, or Pathfinder. Today, available now at nissanusa.com. As the sun comes out and small businesses are back in business, LinkedIn Jobs makes it easier for you to grow your team. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the people that you want to interview faster and for free. With simple tools like screening questions, it makes it easier for you to focus on candidates that you want to hire with just the right skills and just the right experience. You could prioritize potential candidates. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates that you want to talk to faster. Who wants to spend all that time looking for candidates on LinkedIn, which can be insane, by the way? It's really fun. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Join in. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Yeah, and you kind of touched on it before where you were like, hey, like he no like the IQ part of Riley Kugel's game
Oh
is
yeah.
that he can pick up the defense and kind of picking up switches and everything about this system. I want to switch to the offense with this for a minute because I feel like we've talked a lot about every player, and every time that we record, I talk about this. Every player, it's versatility, high IQ guys is kind of what Florida's been looking for with Todd Golden. How does Riley Kugel fit into this offense in terms of I feel like we talk about a lot of guys where we say, well, they're going to be handling the ball this year. They're
Right.
going to be slashing. They're going to be spot up shooters on the perimeter here. So how does Riley Kugel kind of fit into all that? You mentioned he can kind of live above the rim a little bit, but
Yeah.
how has he been in terms of shooting and or what can we expect at least in terms of shooting and potentially being another ball handler for this offense?
Yeah, so he's a guy who tends to make the right play, the basketball winning play, right? So if he's open, but this guy's a little bit more open, he's going to pass it to the more open guy. He's built that way. He's the guy who's going to go get a piece of the paint and kick it out to the open shooter. These are great basketball plays. This is what people when people say because it's almost a throwaway quote. High IQ guy. What does that mean? Right. So that's exactly what it means. It's like a guy who's going to I could get there, but man, is he open, right? That's a high. It sounds simple, but we overcomplicate, we over, do things. But the reality is, the game of basketball is pretty simple. Hey, that guy's open. He shoots really good in practice. Let's pass to him. So Riley's the guy who's like, yeah, I'm gonna. He's always been that way. I'm gonna, and that's why he had so much success in the summer and in high school at Dr. Phillips because he makes game-winning plays and he's able to score himself. So sometimes the game-winning play is calling your own number because you have a path to the basket. He's a rim runner. He plays with high energy, so he's running the court, running the court. And the reality is, he's just a momentum shifting guy, right? He's a guy who's going to play above the rim, who's going to get that dunk that's going to make you guys go crazy and do the Gator chomp, right? So, uh, yeah, that's how he's going to see. That's how he plays on the offensive end. That's how he's always played, and that's obviously what the coaching staff has loved about him and why they inserted him into the lineup so far.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Jason. Every time that we talk about Riley Kugel and so many of these recruits and freshmen on this team, I get more and more excited for basketball seasons. Just every time, I'm like, oh man, like things are finally looking good again. But
Yeah.
before I let you go, I did want to ask about so Riley Kugel and Denzel Aberdeen, high school teammates. Is there a realistic expectation there for that chemistry carrying over, or with it being a different system, a new system, completely new team around, like you're not the stars anymore. Is there a realistic expectation for that chemistry to kind of carry over on the court early on?
Absolutely, because of what you said, because you're not the stars anymore. So you can you'll gel and you'll grow in that experience too, right? So it's like, man, we have this in common. Right. Well, we went from here, so what they say, started from the bottom, now we're here. You know what I'm saying? Like that's real, but you grow a bond in that world too, right? And so that only enhances your chemistry. That only enhances um what you do on the court, off the court. And so I certainly think that there could be a correlation there to their chemistry on the court and their production in time.
Yeah, I can't wait for basketball season. I'll let
Yeah,
you know
it's
that.
fun.
And I'm not a huge basketball guy, but now I cannot wait for basketball season. Thank you so much, Jason. This was Jason Jordan, Sports Illustrated's director of basketball recruiting. He's going to be with Locked On Gators every week now. Like it's basketball season. We're here every week with Jason, and you can catch him all over the Locked On College Network. I know that Isaac Shade with Tar Heels has been all over having you there. So thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.